ready for your daily dose of League of Legends and LCS news. I'm Mad Magical and this is Worth TV. First thing on the docket is going to be patch 8.1. Just got released today, at least the notes did. So we gotta have a feeling of what we're going to expect for NA, EU, all the leagues, because they're all going to be playing on 8.1. But honestly, it's kind of disappointing. There wasn't too much that is going to impact a competitive meta. Overheal is still going to be flourishing. You're still going to see Jarvan, Sejuani dominating the meta. You'll probably even see the Kha'Zix, Rainguards, and Lee Sins pop up every once in a while with Shen's in the top lane, even possibly the support. We saw that over at Demacia Cup. So I'm kind of disappointed by that. Though there are a few minor buffs that came in, and one minor nerf that I do want to talk about. Because, let's be honest, the Heimerdinger and the Kill nerfs that came down are only going to impact solo queue. They're not going to do anything for competitive meta. Maybe there's going to be the one-off kill supports that we'd see once in a while, but I'd be hard-pressed to actually see that be a legitimate pick from anyone. There's only a few of these picks I can see being really viable in the meta, at least in a competitive scene, and one of them is going to be the Graves, where he got a pretty decent buff to his W, his smoke screen, where instead of it just being a minor sort of slow that would kind of be a nuisance in the early game, it's up to a 50% slow. While sure, only for 0.5 seconds, that's huge. Adding in a lot more CC to his kit that he was very much lacking, so the smoke screen having that ability to help out in these ganks earlier into the game honestly could bring him back into the meta. Well, he kind of remained as a fringe pick, that pocket pick some people would maybe once in a while bust out. I can honestly see him starting to rise up. If you see Jarvan and Sejuani banned away, you're kind of like, oh, if we want someone for the later game who can keep up with Rengar, keep up with Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, but still do a lot of damage, Graves is going to be your guy. And we also see Brand. He got a buff, and while you might be like, whoa, Brand getting a buff, that's nothing, it doesn't really mean much. I beg to differ, honestly, because it went from 2% to 4% from his passive stacking to deal increased maximum health damage. And this is per stack, by the way. This stacks up to 3 times before he gets the explosion that comes in with it. So you pretty much are doubling the amount of damage he has. Instead of being 6% at that max stack, it's now 12. And that's massive when you talk about all the tanks that are coming down. See Sejuani, Jarvan, top lane Shen's, you see even the supports being the Brahms, the Tom Kenches, the Alistars. This is something that could bring him in. While I don't think it will make him that viable, I could see it being a fringe pick that comes out every once in a while. Similar to how Graves will probably see the limelight once in a while. Brand can be picked in mid, especially if Azir's going to be banned away. You want something that has some reliability in lane, but can combat into some of the more mid-range mages coming in, the control mages. It's not really the Victors. Victor probably will blow him out of the water. Same with the Zoe. And Zoe is something that we'll talk about in a little bit, but I just want to keep talking about Brand because I honestly think that we will see it once or twice. Not a lot, but once or twice. Because just based on that passive change alone. So, now, like I was talking about, gotta talk about Zoe. She got some quality of life nerfs. Well, I'd say they're good for her. Like, well, you know, good for her as in health-wise, so making her a lot healthier to play against. I don't see it doing much to actually stop her from dominating everybody in solo queue and competitive and receiving pretty much every ban like we saw with Camille when she first got released. Who's also somehow coming into the meta. What is this life? But Zoe will still hang around, unfortunately, guys. So while, sure, the portal jump is now instantaneous, so she doesn't have that little frame of invulnerability where she's not even on the map, she's going to still be there. And then the trouble bubble not activating the trap right away, where if it lands on the ground, it's still going to sit there for a little bit before, so people have a little bit more escape. Honestly, the problem with her kit is that it's ridiculous. There's so much cooldown on it that you could take away a lot of the damage, but the fact that you can get the sleepy trouble bubble up almost to every 10 seconds, the CC for that is absurd and increases the magic damage to that target. There's no way that that little change is going to stop her. Then the other thing to talk about right now is going to be TSM getting $25 million from a Silicon Valley based company called Bessemer. I probably butchered their name. It's Bessemer Venture Group. So they're giving $25 million to TSM, and this isn't that big of a thing to talk about because TSM's already gotten a lot of money from their various different websites they own, as well as all the other sponsors they've already had prior, all the championships they've won in NA. But still, a little bit of icing on the cake for them, bringing a little bit more money that they can hopefully continue to put into the league and continue to make the LCS an amazingly great thing. But honestly, it's just, I'd say, a little bit of news to kind of flavor everything up, to say, hey, look, we're getting more money into the LCS, when in actuality they already had a lot of money. If had this gone to one of the newer teams, I'd probably be like, whoa, that's interesting. Like, somehow FlyQuest gets $25 million from this company. I'd probably be like, hey, that's pretty cool. But the fact that it's TSM, I'm kind of just like, I'm indifferent on. I'm just like, good for you. Good for you. So, the last thing I want to talk about is something that is annoying for anyone who loves League of Legends, loves LCS, and loves competitive things. And that's the fact that Keith Olbermann, I think that's his name. Yeah, Keith Olbermann, that's his name. He tweeted out talking about an article that was mentioning how Doublelift has quote-unquote jumped the shark, but then also talking about how he's still making it big with Team Liquid. But he was pretty much calling out this Gamers Inquirer article saying, oh, why are you talking about this? 3 years is nothing. Why are you talking about jumping the shark? Some rando kids talking about this and that. We're seeing the growth of a new market, a new community that we've all been a part of for quite some time. And to have someone who's, I'd say, a part of the old guard, who's not really someone who understands what has happened with the growth of technology, and seeing how the LCS has gone from this small thing, the memes of in Freak's basement for season 1. I remember watching season 2 when we were like, oh my god, it got 10 million viewers. Holy crap, that's amazing. And I remember watching and seeing the Taipei Assassins win, and that being one of the biggest upsets that I think still to date that we've ever seen in League of Legends. Just period. It's beautiful to kind of look at this history, but then have someone smack us in the face and say that it's pointless, that this is just some random kids whining and crying. It just shows that people still have yet to accept us, and it will take some more time for us as a community. As long as we keep staying this united group, we can keep rising. Even, it doesn't matter what, like esport or whatever game you support. It could be Overwatch, CSGO, PUBG, Dota, League of Legends. We're all in this together. We're all trying to make sure that it's our game that's getting out there to the market. But we all need to kind of take it back and say, hey, there are still people who aren't a part of esports at all who want to stop us in our tracks. So it doesn't matter what game you are a part of, just give some love wherever you can to everybody out there in this community. Love to see us continue to grow and surpass all these other markets. I know we have the BAMTech channel, the broadcasting channel that's probably going to come out, that's owned by ESPN and Disney, that we'll see how that goes in the future. And I'd love to see, say, League of Legends on basic cable TV one day. That's a pipe dream, sure, because I'd much rather watch it on my beautiful computer right here that I was just petting, even though I'm building a new one. So yeah, I'd say that's it for the news today. There's not really that much. Patch 8.1 is kind of big, even though what actually came in, the content of it, wasn't. The fact that that's going to be what all the leagues, all the competitive leagues are playing on for the first couple of weeks, something to talk about, as well as, I mean, mentioning sponsors is a nice thing, but I also didn't really have much other news, so I felt like I had to fill the void. But the last thing, the thing with why do I keep messing up his name? Keith Olbermann, I felt like was a necessity to talk about, even if I rambled for a bit, just because I want everyone to know that hopefully we're all in this for the long haul. Hopefully we can show the world exactly what we want to do. But until then, until the next video, guys, take it easy.